So in this video, I'm going to let you know what Mallorca is like in October. We're going to take a look at not just the weather, we're going to have a look at the airport news, plus all the wonderful things that you can see and do if you're over here on holiday. But first, I'm going to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel. Every single month I bring out a guide to the island as well. I let you know the latest, what you can expect if you're coming here on holiday too. Check out my previous guides, but look out for my new ones too, because I try and switch them up every single month to help you out with your holiday. Okay, so we're going to start this video over here in Puerto Poyensa. I'm up here filming for the day, so I'm going to let you know what you can expect if you're coming over here in October. And we're going to start off with the weather because, well, as we have entered autumn, we do not get the endless days of heat and sunshine as we head towards this time of the month. And I'm often asked, what is the weather like as we head on into October? And I say to everyone, well, it's mixed, and it will be mixed. We do get plenty of sunny days, like you can see behind me. It's an absolutely gorgeous, warm, sunny day down here, but we are likely to get some storms as well going on into October. Now, I've had a look at the long-range weather forecast. I can't see anything of concern for the month of October, but that's not to say that we will not get some storms blowing through the island. And often we don't get very much notice on those either. They can sweep in as quickly as they sweep out again too. I would say as well, come over and join the Mallorca Under the Sun Facebook group. If we do have any weather warnings, I mean any severe weather warnings, I do alert people on the day, maybe the day or the day before those take place as well, just to let you know if you're going out and about from your resort too, and whether you need to take additional care on that particular day. So keep an eye out on that, particularly at this time of year too. However, highs that you can expect on the island in the month of October are going to be around 27 degrees. Daytime lows are going to be around 21-22 degrees. You're going to find evening lows to be around 15 to 17 degrees approximately, but we could also spring much warmer days as well. And I do remember in the past that we've had some really lovely warm sunny days as well. So make sure you bring out all your summer wear as well, but make sure you also pack plenty of warmer clothes as well. If you're going to the beach during the day, bring something like a hoodie or a fleece. If you're going out in the evening, make sure you bring some jeans or some long trousers or a long dress. Maybe bring your trainers too, and also maybe just bring a light jacket as well, because those evenings can get a little bit fresh too. So as we go through the month of October, we can expect sunrise times to be around 8 a.m. The sun is going to be going down, and we're going to start getting some really lovely sunsets at around 7:30 in the evening. The days are going to be shorter, I have to say, but it's going to be a fantastic time of year to catch some of those really beautiful sunrises and sunsets that we get at this time of year. If you do get some lovely pictures as well, please go and share them on the Mallorca Under the Sun Facebook group too, because we'd love to see them. So with the occasional rainy day that we will get during the month of October, I want you to check out a video which I made from Palma just the other day, filmed in September as well. And it's going to be pretty much the same story in many of the old towns too, around Mallorca on a rainy or a cloudy day, because obviously if you can't go to the beach, we're going to have a huge influx of holiday makers visiting the capital city Palma. We're going to also see other locations like Soller and Port de Soller filling up on a cloudy day as well, with sightseers looking for things to do. I would say wherever you are on the island, you're going to be just a few kilometres away from a really interesting old town. So maybe instead of flocking to the city centre, instead of flocking to Palma, maybe consider looking at some old towns around the resort that you're staying in, and also taking the local bus as well. I have made, for example, a video over in Cala about some really interesting old towns around that resort too. Go and check that out. I'll drop a link below. If you do go and visit Palma, I do have a self-guided itinerary as well, so check out the video that I made all about that to help you navigate your way around Palma city. But I would say if you are going into Palma, just take some patience with you, because the bus stops will have many people at them waiting. We're going to find queues on bus stops. We're going to have a high demand for car hire on those days as well. So maybe consider putting your feet up and relaxing, and maybe checking out some of the other restaurants in your resort on that day. We also have plenty of other activities to do, such as cave attractions. We've got shopping centres, we've got museums, we've got historical sites as well that you can go and check out on a cloudy day as well. You don't necessarily have to wait at that bus stop and head on to the other side of the island, so just bear that in mind too. Okay, so one question that I am always asked at this time of year is, can I still swim in the sea? Well, of course you can, because that sea has had plenty of time to warm up from the summer. It never really cools down until around February or March, but you still even find people swimming then. But this is a lovely time of year to go swimming. I would say though that after a storm, you may well find in some resorts, and I'm referring to over here in Porto Poyensa, you may well find that they do have the red flags out on the beaches. So just keep an eye out for those. You may well have seen in one of my previous videos as well that they're even actually letting people swim in the sea when there is a red flag too. So if you do swim in waters where red flags are flying, just beware that you are doing so at your own risk. Probably wouldn't advise it either. But anyway, but if you do have a red flag on the beach where you are staying, just go a few hundred meters down the coast. You're probably going to find that there's a green flag flying on the nearby beach as well. So don't feel that you're stuck on red flag beaches over here, because the sea conditions change from one area pretty much to another. Okay, so what is going on over at the airport at this time of year, and what's your experience going to be like coming through? Well, for all my UK and third country visitors, so if you're coming from the United States or Canada or from any other third country, you're going to be arriving into, I call it Terminal A, they call it Module A over at the airport. Now, this is going to be your final month of fingerprint-free and biometric photo-free travel. We're going to see a big change in November, and even that at the moment isn't 100% guaranteed. So I would say consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm going to bring you all the latest airport news if you're planning a trip to the EU, particularly to Mallorca as well, coming up in the months ahead. So October, it's going to be the same rules as usual. If you're coming over from the United Kingdom, you're going to get your passport stamped when you enter Spain. When you enter Mallorca, you're going to get it stamped on the way out as well. And of course, nothing's going to change with regards to the rights of staying here as well, which is no more than 90 days in a 180-day period. So just make sure you keep a track on the time that you spend in the EU as well, and make sure you don't overstay your welcome either. But everything might well change in November, but I'll keep you up to date with that news as we go on. Now, we're going to find the airports to be quite busy on the latter end of October, with the half-term breakers coming over and those trying to get a really value for money break before the season closes. I would say if you haven't yet travelled and you want to try and catch the last gasp of summer, check out the offers available on Jet2. I've mentioned it in one of my news updates. Check out what offers you have available for this time of year before the end of the season. I'll drop a link below. You can support the channel at no extra cost to yourself as well, and maybe you can get yourself a last minute holiday before winter sets in over here. But coming through the airport shouldn't be a problem. I've heard nothing but good news from holidaymakers coming through recently, so any problems that they have had this year seem to have been ironed out. Just bear in mind, as we approach the end of the season, we're going to have a lot of people leaving the island on the very, very last weekend of the season, so the last weekend in October. Expect the airport to be quite busy then, and I've seen some really horrendous flight prices for that particular weekend too. If you can try and delay your return flight, if you are self-booking, until the first days of November, I would really recommend doing that. Okay, so what's it like getting around the island in October? Well, hopefully it'll be a little bit better than it has been this year so far, particularly during the peak season months too. We still have the direct airport buses that run from the airports out to the resorts, and these run until the end of the season, which is on the 31st of October. After then, moving into November, and I'll bring this in my November update, you're going to have to get the EMT bus into Palma and change there. So in October, you're also going to find the bus stops to hopefully be a little bit less busy than you would have found earlier on this year, and it's still a great way of getting around the island. You may also find slightly cheaper car hire deals as well, with it being a little bit less busy over here too, so go and check those out too. You may also find a higher demand on a cloudy or rainy day for car hire as well, so expect to possibly pay a little bit more for your car hire if you don't have something booked already. Okay, so what is it like in the resorts if you're coming over here on holiday? Well, I have to say it's still quite busy over here, contrary to what you may well have read in the newspapers recently. You are going to find, however, with many of the restaurants that some of them will move to a slightly modified opening time. So some restaurants will be opening just from Thursday till Sunday. Some restaurants will be closing one day of the week to allow their staff to have a day off. You may find a slight altering in opening and closing times of restaurants as well, but I've seen pretty much most of the restaurants open throughout the month actually, so don't worry too much if you're coming over here on holiday. The resorts are not like a ghost town. However, saying that, if you are going to Magaluf and expecting to party, if you will have seen my video from over in September, which I filmed over there in September, you will know that they will have had their closing parties already. So October is not the time to go to Magaluf to go and party. However, it's a great resort to go if you're travelling there as part of a family, because just like everywhere else on the island as well, all the attractions are going to still be open too. So we've still got all the attractions open, whether it's Kathmandu, a theme park, all the shows are still open. And the cave attractions are open, just about everything else is open around the island too, so there's still plenty to see and do. However, I do have news of when the water parks are going to be closing. So if you are coming over and you're hoping to go to the water parks, regardless of what the temperature is actually going to be like, you're going to find that Aqualand, I think this is going to be closing on the 29th of September, and I've taken that information directly from their website. Western Water Park over in Magaluf looks like that is going to be open until the 15th of October. If you come over after that date, it's looking like it's going to be closed. Hydro Park over here just across the way down here in Alcudia will be open along with Club Mac as well. It's kind of joined to the hotel until the 29th of October. However, plenty of other hotels as well, they do day passes. If you do get a slightly cloudy or a rainy day, we do have a few hotels around the islands that do have heated indoor swimming pools as well. They are few and far between, but have a look online. You may well find that you can get a day pass for some hotels around the island if you do want to go swimming on the day that is maybe a little bit cloudy or a little bit cool or a little bit rainy too. Okay, so while I have said that the season ends on the 31st of October, I'm hoping we're going to see quite a few places stay open as we roll into November as well. In case you're coming over for an end of October break that rolls into November, there's always going to be bars and restaurants open in every single resort, even moving into November and throughout the winter as well, so don't worry too much. It will feel, however, as we head towards the end of the month, you're not going to get quite the same offering or have quite the same experience that you will do at other times of the year during the summer season. And what I mean by this is that, for example, if you go to ice cream shops at the end of the season, you may not have all the flavours available. Some restaurants might run a slightly more restricted menu as well, because of course if they're closing on the 31st of October, they're not going to want to stock up on every single item, which they then have to sell by the end of October too. So just bear that in mind. From my point of view, your holiday coming over here in October is just as important as anyone coming over at any other time of year, but unfortunately the bars and the restaurants don't necessarily see it that way, so expect not to have as much availability in some of the bars and the restaurants as you would see if you were coming over at say the beginning of the season or during the summer either. And maybe that explains why quite possibly the holidays might be a little bit more inexpensive at this time of year too. Also, and I also have to give this mosquito update, particularly because I'm up here in the northeast of the island and because I'm over here in Puerto Poyensa and I'm just down the coast from Alcudia. This time of year, you're quite likely to see a slight worsening of mosquito conditions, just because the resorts would have been treated at the beginning of the season, and well, with the sun and the rain, they're quite likely to enable them to get a little bit worse at this time of year. And I have seen reports of people getting bitten as well. I haven't been bitten recently. We did get one break into the apartment just a few days ago. I did get bitten a couple of times, but not when I've been out and about. So, as I've said in all my videos, come over prepared, bring treatment with you as well, bring repellent and bring some treatment and you should just be fine. Okay, so what else is going on during the month of October? Well, I just want to alert you to one public holiday that we have on the 12th. It's called the Dia de la Hispanidad. It's kind of Spanish Day over here on the island. And while it is a public holiday, which means that several businesses will be closed, if you are flying over on that day, don't worry too much. If you're getting public transport, you'll still be able to get public transport. It might just run to a slightly different timetable. Supermarkets will be open as well. Don't worry about going out and getting food in. Restaurants and bars will be open as well. We're not going to have a mass closing. It's not anything like Christmas Day. There might be a few fiestas going on around the island as well, so look out for those too. But apart from that, it'll be pretty much business as usual in the resort, so don't worry too much about that. What else is going on? Well, I'm going to alert you to a couple of road closures that we are going to get due to sporting events, and well, you may well be coming over for these sporting events too. So on the 19th of October we have the Challenge Peguera race taking place in Calvia. All around that area actually they're going to have road closures during the course of that event as well, so keep an eye out if you are hiring a car on those days around the Challenge Peguera events. Just bear in mind that some of the roads going in and out of the resort might actually be restricted. There are normally workarounds from that as well, but just keep an eye out for that. Same goes with the TUI Marathon taking place in Palma on the 20th of October. That race tends to run into the city around Palma Old Town, and it goes out towards the Playa de Palma too, so those roads are going to be blocked and closed as well during the course of that day and while the race is taking place. Don't go driving into Palma on that day either, maybe give that area a miss. However, October is a fantastic month to get out and get exploring around the islands. I say it in all my videos, but because of the milder temperatures, October is an amazing time of the month to go hiking. Got plenty of great hikes to do. I'll drop a couple of links to my favourite hikes in the description text below. I always do say let someone know if you are hiking, and whether you're going out by yourself or just as a couple. Let someone know where you're going, what time you're leaving, what time you're getting back, and also your route too. Always let people know that's super important, but always take plenty of water with you, and if you're coming over, don't go hiking in flip-flops. Make sure you've got adequate footwear too, and also maybe take something warm as well with you, and maybe a waterproof just in case you get a shower, and always check the weather forecast as well before you go out too. Okay everyone, that's my roundup of what Mallorca is going to be like during the month of October. Come and find us in the Facebook group, and you can also find me on Instagram too, which is also called Mallorca Under the Sun. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'm going to drop a couple of links both here and here on YouTube for some information that might be helpful for your holiday too if you're coming out just before the end of the season. Okay everyone, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Goodbye for now.